All right, week 4. And this is where our little cute love story starts hitting deeper waters, because this is the point where beige boy over here fell head over heels for a girl who had no idea that she was walking around with an undiagnosed condition called complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Look, I didn't even know what that was back then. Still working it out. I just knew I wanted you in my life. You were like a lightning bolt in a denim miniskirt. And you were intense, yep. But you were funny, sharp, wild, soft. I didn't understand yet. And absolutely unforgettable. And something in me just went, oh, she's the one. It wasn't logical. It wasn't planned. It was just instinct. And my whole system had been waiting for you.
Aww. And you were sunshine, something I had never known and I just didn't know how to trust. Not because it was you, but because life had taught me that being wanted was dangerous. It was conditional. It was fleeting.
Right.
As an adopted baby, I'd been handled recklessly most of my life. So the idea of someone seeing me and choosing me to be their first, well, that was new. It was kind of like an alien out-of-body experience. You have to understand, Steve's default setting was positivity, and I don't mean in a toxic way. I mean the real thing. This man is basically human vitamin D.
I just thought, isn't that what you do when you love someone? You show up, you speak life into them, you tell them what you see in them, even when they can't see it themselves. So sometimes you couldn't see it yourself. I could not do that. It felt natural, automatic, like breathing. And honestly, you lit me up. And there was nothing forced about it. Sounds like a song. Loving you felt easy.
So you showed up and you showered me with affection and kindness and commitment. You promised a future filled with dreams, possibility and hope. And because no one had ever held me like that,
Right.
my whole internal system went into shock.
Wow. I didn't even know that about you. I didn't know your history. I just walked into a relationship full of love and positivity. I didn't know you'd been wounded, abandoned, or treated like an afterthought. I just saw the girl that I loved, and I wanted you to feel safe. And if that meant telling you 10 times a day that you were incredible and that I love you, I was happy to do it.
Yeah. And here's the wild part. I didn't understand at the time that my brain had been starved of that kind of love.
Right.
For safety, for being chosen, for someone seeing me as their number one. So when Steve gave me that, my whole body lit up like a bloody Christmas tree as a response to the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the whole cocktail. It was like discovering a drug I didn't know existed.
Yeah. I didn't know that I was giving you something that you'd never had. It was a very, we were deeply in love and just wanted to connect. For me, loving you that way wasn't extraordinary. It was just, how do I put it? You deserved it. And I could understand how you could not see that.
Yeah. And for me, you were like an entire pharmacy.
Wow.
No one had ever treated me like I mattered. So when you started loving me the way you did, I didn't stand a chance. I got high on you, high on being chosen, high on finally not feeling disposable.
Yeah, and honestly, I loved being that person to you. I really did, really did. I loved watching you soften and start to trust me bit by bit. Like the more love I gave, the more I saw the real you, not the guarded, prickly, don't get too close girl, or tell me to travel somewhere, but the tender one underneath. And I wanted to protect you and protect everything that we had and you had.
Yeah. And here's the twist. Unfortunately, this wasn't just young love. This was my nervous system grabbing onto the first place it had ever felt safe.
Right.
And it created a bond that was so intense, neither of us knew what we were actually playing with.
Yeah. I really did think we were just falling in love. I just thought that was the idealism, the positivity. I didn't realise my steady energy, my commitment, my hopeful, everything's going to be amazing worldview was becoming like an anchor to you. It was that you were holding on to me like I was oxygen. You know, I was kind of presenting that I had all the answers, but I didn't. I didn't see the pressure of that, not for many years.
Yeah. And we were falling in love, but we were also forming trauma bonds without realising it. And, 40 odd years ago, people didn't talk about trauma bonds. We didn't know what was going on. And I suppose no professionals would have either. Your stability, your optimism, your total devotion, that, you're right, that was my oxygen. And I didn't know how to breathe on my own from that time on.
Yeah. If I'd known, had any inkling at all, I think I would have held you differently. Not less, not withdrawn, but just with more awareness, because I was just so unaware. More care about all that intensity and what that intensity of my love was actually doing to you, and as you say, creating trauma bonds.
Yeah, well, you did love me well, and it was in those early days that these patterns were set up that we have had to spend years untangling. So it's not about blame, it's about should have known better, but how could we have known? We didn't. We were just kids. We were two humans that had our own baggage and our own wounds, doing the best we could with the histories that we had both brought into the relationship. And for me, I was in survival mode constantly. And for you, you were just a very deeply loving, caring young man.
Yeah, and genuinely trying to build a life together. And even when I didn't have the tools, we didn't have the tools or the language or any bloody clue about childhood trauma and what that actually can do to a person.
Yeah.
It did to you.
Yep, but the truth is, the way we fell in love wasn't just romantic. It was chemical, it was survival, it was instinct, it was need. And it explains so much about the chaos that came later.
Yeah. But it was also magic. It was chaotic at times.
Yeah.
But it was magic. And let's not pretend there wasn't magic in the mix.
There was. Yeah, there was. And you know what? There still is.
There still is.
And I think that's where we've kind of come back to, especially with what we're doing now.
Yep.
So next week, we get into the cracks that started to show, where love and trauma started dancing together, and we didn't see that it was coming.